It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. Hey, we ain't got a lot of time left. If the rap game fall, bet I did this shit to death. No motivation to stretch it. Focused on ethics, try to survive in my section. Shit is depressing. Used to care about niggas. Now I give a fuck about your whereabouts. Publishing, I'm clearing house, nigga. Music on shows, I'm on Paramount, nigga. Killing every rapper breathing, and I'm bailing out quicker, single-handed. Never panic, I get disbanded, reprimanded, ass-handed, then they vanish. Hip-hop, nigga, I perfected every element with 4 finger rings on. Call me Captain Planet. Street shit done. These niggas scum, I don't appreciate none. Nigga thinking nigga stunt. Came from a village, bumping dealer in the slum, moving on another pillar. I'm the realest that they come. I don't need no squad. My rap clean like Pino on the beats like Ringo Starr. Blast on niggas like Beano bars, doing numbers in the bank like bingo cards. My respect level lower, next level flow us in the text. Bitch, your ex come and blow us. Old school niggas still dressed in below us in the jet, watching Plex while I flex on them niggas that's below us. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. For everybody tuning in, I greatly appreciate y'all. Much love and respect. It's your boy J Nolan here. Now, before I start, you see we got new hats on and stuff, man. Dad gang. If you like these dad gang hats, for all my fathers out there, all my ladies that got good fathers in y'all lives or have great fathers in your children's lives, you know what I'm saying? Go down to the description below, use the code, you feel me? Get your dad gang gear, man. But we're gonna get into this whole Big U situation. Now, I haven't had the opportunity to talk about this on my channel because as I was preparing for my birthday last week, all this ish storm came flooding through. And of course, we've been talking about all this Drake ghostwriter and all this other type of stuff on my channel in the meantime. So I haven't really been able to get to all this Big U, Brick Baby, Loose Cannon, and basically this whole culture of checking in that was established on the West Coast that many rappers have been, let's just say, allegedly victimized by, extorted by, having to give out hundreds of thousands of dollars when going to Cali. Now, keep in mind, it's cause they want to go to the hood. They want to go to the areas that they've heard about and seen about in all these movies and the music and all of this different type shit. You know, but we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get into the indictment and we're gonna get into a lot of these videos that have surfaced online of different people talking about the situation, giving their perspective of it. I mean, I'm not on the ground out there. I don't live out there. I've never had to partake in checking in any form or fashion anywhere in the world. You know what I'm saying? But I also am I'm an internet personality at this point with a YouTube page. I'm a songwriter, artist, you know what I'm saying? Positive nigga. I'm a father. I'm a husband. You know, for all intents and purposes, I'm a civilian out there, bit, man. I ain't no gangster. I ain't trying to be no gangster, and I want to keep it that way, all right? So we're going to talk about other people's perspective of what's going on, but we're going to get to the details because, of course, again, although this does have a lot to do with color politics, it is also seeped into hip-hop because hip-hop is based around street urban culture and things of that nature. A lot of the stuff that people rap about is based on the lives and the characteristics and the actions of these people that partake in these things. So we're just going to touch on it and try to be as concise as possible, right? I'm sure y'all have seen it on numerous other channels at this point, but let's go through it. So we've got here Andrew James Russa being sworn in, and they are a special agent with the FBI. Okay, they've been employed there since September 2018. He says, I am currently assigned to a criminal enterprise squad at the Orange County Resident Agency of the FBI, where I'm tasked with investigating violent gangs and organized criminal enterprises. From March 2019 through December 2024, when I joined the Orange County Resident Agency, I was assigned to the Los Angeles Field Office investigating violent gangs and organized criminal enterprises in conjunction with the LA Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Gangs a multi-agency federal, state, and local gang task force. My experience as an SA with the FBI includes, but is not limited to, conducting physical surveillance, executing search and arrest warrants, working with informants, issuing subpoenas, analyzing pen register and trap and trace records, interviewing subjects and witnesses, consensually monitored meetings and telephone calls, analyzing financial records, and conducting court-authorized interception of wire communications. I've received training in the investigation of violations of federal law, including racketeering laws and federal drug conspiracy laws, and have personally participated in and assisted with several gang investigations involving racketeering and drug conspiracies, and that's what we are talking about here is a RICO. Okay? So he's just swearing himself in, and then he goes into the people that were of interest here. So you got Eugene Henley Jr., also known as Big U, aka Unc, aka Grrrls, aka Hannibal, aka Hannibal Muhammad, aka Anybody Killer, and so many other things. Okay? You've got Tremaine Ashley Williams, aka Loose Cannon. Right? Now, Big U is the center of attention here. He's been involved in the game for many years, you know, legendary in terms of, you know, his street work. Went to jail many years, came out, tried to straighten his life out, get involved in the music industry, get involved in, you know, youth athletics, things of that nature. But it seems that, you know, his past has kept up with him. We got this loose cannon person who I only know from doing podcasts with people such as Adam 22. I don't watch the show, but I see the stuff going viral pretty consistently. You got this person here, Armani Afleji, aka Manny. You've got Frederick Blanton Jr., Tiffany Sharina Shines for violation of Title 18. The facts set forth in this affidavit are based upon my personal observations, they state. So this is a lot going on. Okay, there's also persons, property, and premises to be searched. Remember, Big U's home was raided. So they say the property, the person of Henley, as described in attachment A1, a black 2021 Mercedes registered to Henley and believed to be used by him, bearing California state license plates, blah, blah, blah. His residence, multiple residences, as a matter of fact. The person of Robinson. So all of these people, items to be seized include his Mercedes, his homes, fruits and instrumentalities of violations, unlawful debt collection, wow, conspiracy to interference and attempted interference with commerce by robbery and extortion. So these are all of the different things that they're claiming that these people were involved in. This is a lot, man. This is a 107-page indictment, by the way, if you haven't noticed. Summary of the investigation. In February 2021, the FBI and LA Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Gangs launched an investigation into Henley's criminal enterprise, the Big U enterprise as they're calling it, and its association with the Rolling 60s, which they began investigating in August of 2020. The Big U enterprise is a mafia-like, so they say, organization that utilizes Henley's stature and long-standing association with the Rolling 60s and other street gangs to intimidate businesses and individuals in LA. The Big U enterprise is led by Henley. Henley is a self-admitted member of the original or OG of this street fraternity, a violent criminal street gang with associated sets in several other states. In the 1980s, Henley rose to a prominent position in the LA drug and Rolling 60 hierarchies. During this time, Henley also earned a reputation as an enforcer for the Rolling group. Some members of the Big U enterprise are also members as well. Henley is able to lead the Big U enterprise because of his standing as the face for decades and his reputation for violence, including what they say, murder. At times, the Big U enterprise partners with members and associates of other criminal elements for mutual benefit, but the Big U enterprise is a distinct and independent criminal enterprise engaged in criminal activity. Members and associates of the Big U enterprise are engaged in illegal activities, including extortion, robbery, murder, human trafficking, wire fraud, bank fraud, and other financial crimes, obstructions of justice, illegal debt collection, illegal gambling, conspiracy to commit fraud via illegal gambling, and other offenses in furtherance of the Big U enterprise and for the benefits of its members and associates. As set forth in detail below, through the course of the investigation, agents gathered information from a variety of sources, including confidential human sources, aka informants, surreptitious recordings, including Title III wiretaps, search warrants for social media. One thing I'll never understand is why people talk about their criminal acts on social media or podcasts. It just never made sense to me, but I don't live that life. I would never understand. iCloud and Google accounts, financial records from both individuals and companies or organizations, toll records showing communications between conspirators, victims, and Big U Enterprise members and associates, cell site location information from numerous phones, including Henley, Robinson, and Martin's, and so many other things. Interviews of witnesses and victims. The investigation employed various additional investigative techniques, including surveillance, vehicle tracking, poll cameras, recording devices, interaction with confidential sources, and information gleaned through undercover purchases of firearms and narcotics. They got Jay Reed out here, man. God damn. United States District Court for the Central District of California authorized multiple Title III wire and electronic interception orders for telephones being used by certain subjects of the investigation, including Henley, Robinson, Martin, and Zahir Mitchell, aka Brick Baby. The court also authorized the interception of audio and visual nonverbal conduct via closed-circuit television through the installment of video and audio bugs in a location. Since the inception of this investigation, the FBI, IRS, Criminal Investigation, United States Attorney Office for Central District of California, blah, 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 and other local agencies have interviewed more than 50 individuals, 50 of them. Damn. Including subjects of the investigation who agreed to voluntarily provide information as discussed further below. Based on information learned from these individuals and other sources, FBI SAs, IRSCI SAs, and LVPD detectives, LAPD detectives requested and obtained additional search warrants and subpoenas. Below, I summarize the information and evidence obtained thus far from these various investigative tools were relevant to the requested complaint and warrants. The investigation remains ongoing. Some of this stuff we're going to skip because, of course, in these things, they repeat a lot. So this is all pretty much stuff that we've heard about. Here they saying they're promoting, protecting, and expanding the power, reputation, and profits of the Big U Enterprise, which they're deeming as a criminal enterprise, and its members and associates through the use of intimidation, fear, violence, threats of violence, assaults, extortion, and so much more, using social media platforms, documentaries, podcasts, interviews, and Henley's reputation and status to create fame for and stoke fear of the Big U Enterprise, its members, and its associates. Financially enriching Big U Enterprise members and associates by defrauding donors to nonprofit entities under the control of Big U Enterprise and its members and associates, including developing options, which I believe is one of his businesses or one of his organizations. Financially enriching Big U Enterprise members and associates by defrauding federal, state, and local agencies that awarded grants and other financial support. So basically they're saying that they've been misappropriating funds from state, federal, and local agencies. You know what I'm saying? Because when you start a nonprofit organization, you become eligible for a lot of benefits and grant money that can help expand your organization, especially if it's something that has to do with enriching the community, or at least that's the intention or what they understand the money is going to. They're saying that they've defrauded all of this, right? They say that they've defrauded mortgage lending businesses to make loans to employees of entities under the control of the enterprise, including his record label, Unique Music Entertainment, and Developing Options, gratifying Big U Enterprise members and associates by trafficking and exploiting sex workers, and concealing and protecting the illegal activities of the Big U Enterprise and its members and associates from detection by law enforcement through means that included, among other things, witness tampering and obstruction of justice. They say beginning no later than 2010 and continuing to the present in LA County within the Central District of California and elsewhere, these people, each being a person employed by and associated with the Big U Enterprise, they've engaged in the activities of which affected interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly and intentionally conspired to violate Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 1962C, that is to conduct or participate directly and indirectly in the conduct of the affairs of the Big U enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity, as that term is defined in Title 18. Wow, wow, wow. It's a lot of shit, man. Again, I can't read all of this all in one sitting. I'm just trying to get through it. As part of the Big U Enterprises purported control of Los Angeles individuals, including professional athletes. Wow. Including professional athletes, musicians, and others intending to conduct certain types of business in LA, including both legitimate and illicit criminal conduct, were required to check in with Henley prior to traveling to Los Angeles or engaging in certain activities to obtain protection from the Big U Enterprise while in LA. Henley hosted a podcast titled Checking In, the opening theme song of which explained, when you hop off the plane, check in. Penthouse suite, check in. When your feet hit the street, check in. Because if not, shit get hot. You better check in. Okay? And y'all know that this has been a term that's been used a lot in hip-hop lyrics, hip-hop conversations over many decades. The check-in included both the payment to the Big U Enterprise as well as requesting permission from Henley to conduct certain activities, including acts of violence that were sanctioned by the Big U Enterprise. As Henley described in a documentary film that he produced about his life titled Hip Hop Uncovered, he says, if I don't pick up the phone, that can mean death for somebody. As Henley stated in the Nothing to Something podcast, you're going to check in. You could choose not to, and it's going to be a problem. If you choose not to check in, you suffer the consequences. You feel like you got something bigger than what's there, and that not checking in is basically an act of war. Wow. There ain't not one human being who not going to check in. While members and associates of the Big U Enterprise use Henley's and the Big U Enterprise's history and reputation to control LA through violence, fear, and intimidation, Henley simultaneously attempted to create an air of legitimacy for the Big U Enterprise by promoting himself as a reformed gang member focused on bettering his community through purported nonprofit organizations he founded, such as Developing Options, and by soliciting donations from celebrities and grants from government and foundations to these charitable organizations. In actuality, Henley and other members and associates of the Big U Enterprise use these purported nonprofit entities to enrich and further the objectives of the Big U Enterprise, including by embezzling funds meant as charitable donations, using nonprofit entities to fraudulently apply for government assistance and loans, using the nonprofit entities to falsify employment and financial records to personally benefit members and associates of the Big U Enterprise. Members and associates of this enterprise would discipline other members and associates who acted in ways seen as detrimental to the enterprise, or other individuals who are seen as disrespecting the enterprise or its members, including through threats and acts of violence such as assault, kidnapping, and unaliving people. Allegedly. Members and associates of the Big U Enterprise would avoid detection by law enforcement by, among other activities, attempting to thwart and evade law enforcement surveillance, destroying video surveillance or other evidence, threatening or otherwise pressuring witnesses of victims committed by members. In sum, there is probable cause to believe that in furtherance of the Big U Enterprise, he kidnapped an unalived victim, R.W., in Las Vegas in retaliation for perceived disrespect to the Big U Enterprise, and endeavored to conceal that with other Big U Enterprise members and associates. Excuse me. Henley, Robinson, Martin, and Williams committed and arranged robberies to enrich the Big U Enterprise, further the extortion committed by the Big U Enterprise, and to create the impression that the Big U Enterprise controlled LA. This is a lot of stuff here, man. They talking about sex, work, and everything. Henley defrauded various companies, donors, athletes, and celebrities into providing donations to the Big U Enterprise charities, only to transfer those donations to his own personal bank account. Wow. Henley fraudulently obtained funding from the City of LA Mayor Office through the Gang Reduction Youth Development Foundation, portions of which received federal funding. Henley defrauded and attempted to defraud not the SBA. Damn. To enrich Blanton, a Big U Enterprise associate who purported to work for the Big U Enterprises charitable organization, they committed bank fraud by submitting a fraudulent mortgage application. And other members and associates of the Big U Enterprise attempted to obstruct investigations into and conceal the above referenced crimes committed on behalf of the enterprise. Wow. Jeez. So, again, we're going to skip over some of the more obvious things here. Here, this is where they try to continue to associate him with this street organization. You know what I'm saying? And he's never backed down from his association with it, continues to talk about it. So it's nothing really to hide there. They go into his history, go into his life story. Again, I'm not going into all of this different stuff because it's too much. It's 100 pages of, just a lot of stuff going on. That's what I'll say. I ain't finna get myself here. So Henley subsequently connected with the hip hop artist Kenneth Green, aka Papa LQ, became his manager. In the docuseries, Papa LQ recounted that Henley was in tune with both the community and gang culture. Henley also became the manager of hip hop artist Ricardo Emmanuel Brown, aka Corrupt Young Gotti, a self-admitted member. In 1991, Henley was found guilty and sentenced to 23 years in state prison for robbery, and as he admitted, he was also charged with kidnapping. While Henley was incarcerated, Henley stated that Corrupt maintained contact and ensured that he was kept abreast of developments in the music industry. In 2022, on the podcast Dub C and Max show, Henley described himself as an enforcer in prison and recounted knocking somebody's eyeball out of their socket as well as committing stabbings. Yeah, I've heard that story many times over the years. That's a hell of a punch, man. Okay, in 2004, he was released. In the docuseries, hip-hop artist Calvin Brodus Jr., a.k.a. Snoop, characterized Henley as institutionalized. You say the wrong thing, you get fucked up. He was short-tempered and serious about the shit he was on. Something about him I liked because I felt he was a leader. Henley claimed that he was focused on healing his community when he returned home from prison. According to Henley, his primary objective was to effect change and lift his community to a better place instead of destroying. They say Henley's own words, though, show the falsity of his claimed reformation. For example, on December 31st, not New Year's Eve, on an intercepted call, Henley explained his motivation for committing unaliving acts on behalf of the enterprise, stating, "What you guys see on the internet, y'all keep hearing other people who don't have nothing to talk about but sell. Let me explain something to you. If I would have had a problem with any man, color, creed, king, or kind, the issue would have been resolved and he wouldn't be here. Or I wouldn't be here. It ain't no kid, nothing. And it damn near nobody who been in this motherfucker longer than me can stand against me and me be who I am. If I had a problem with any man, and this wouldn't be so funny to me, I'm still who they say I am." Oh shit. Similarly, April 23rd, 2023, on an intercepted call, Henley discussed gang politics with a co-conspirator and stated, "I'm retired, nigga. Activist? I pull up on your block right now, nigga, and show up and show out, nigga. That's what happened to the last niggas that thought I was retired." Oh, man. Now, remember, and I'm sure some people have already put this in the chat, people have talked about Big U alleged connection to the untimely demise of Nipsey Hussle as well. There's been a lot of talk about that. He's referenced that talk as well in many public conversations. They say, according to the docuseries, Henley transitioned to life in LA following incarceration, he returned to the hip hop industry. Corrupt connected him with Suge Knight, the former CEO of Death Row, Henley recounted that Suge assisted him financially when he was released. Henley referred to himself as the Blue Suge Knight, as Henley, as of 2004, was widely regarded as a leader of the Rolling 60s. Because of this reputation, he was well positioned to ultimately form and lead the Big U enterprise. In approximately 2008, Henley formed a relationship with the hip-hop artist Ermias Joseph Ashkidum, aka, and now y'all know some interesting name, aka Nipsey Hussle. So if I don't say it right, don't be mad, you know. After several years, Henley temporarily left the industry after he had a falling out with Nipsey Hussle related to equipment at Henley's shop. Henley recounted in the docuseries that Nipsey Hussle made a diss song about Henley, but that Henley is a scrapper, not a rapper. Henley stated that even after they settled their differences, he picked up Nipsey Hussle one morning so that Nipsey Hussle could get disciplined for the diss song. However, Nipsey Hussle's brother intervened and told Henley that Nipsey was not going anywhere. LAPD reports documented that violence erupted, and when LAPD officers arrived on the scene, a firearm was present and discharged. In 2019, Nipsey Hussle was murdered by a member, right? So they go into the rocky relationship between himself and Nip. Here they go into the check-in, okay? RIP to Nipsey, by the way. Henley and the Big U Enterprise are widely known for requiring a check-in for out-of-town entertainers or gang members in LA. As Henley described in the docuseries, if I don't answer the phone, it could be for someone else. Everywhere there's someone like me, and you can't put a monetary value on his touch in hip-hop. After more than 3 decades as a member and several years managing famous hip-hop artists, Henley was widely regarded as an OG. In the docuseries, record producer Dr. Dre explained that it was very helpful to have an OG who can clear the streets. Within his operating environment, Henley instituted the concept of the check-in when hip-hop artists and other celebrities visit LA. The check-in is a term used when someone travels outside of their home city to another city. During that travel, the individual must check in or meet with the local street representative of said city to pay a tax or fee for permission both to move about freely and to have an event or conduct business in that other city without the risk of harassment or danger from criminal elements. While Henley and other supporters attempt to persuade the public that the check-in provides safety and security for those who do so as set forth herein, Henley and the Big U Enterprise also manufacture the very danger they purport to protect against. Oh boy. They say, hey, you either gonna check in or you gonna check out. That's fucked up. According to Henley's statements in the docuseries, as corroborated by our investigation, some visiting hip-hop artists and other individuals pay Henley a fee to check in if they are not from LA. In the docuseries, James Anthony, aka Bimmy, which is Deb's brother, and Steve Lobel, the CEO of A to Z Entertainment, stressed that it is important to know the right people, such as Henley, when visiting places like LA. However, as podcaster Livingston Allen, aka the DJ that don't spin, explained in a docuseries, the check-in is analogous to a commission for the gang or neighborhood where an OG is from. Not his name coming up in this shit. Got to be more careful. Christian Anthony Mathis, aka Trick Trick, explained in a not Trick Trick, Detroit. What up, dog? Explained in a docuseries that he enforces the check-in in Detroit. Trick Trick added, come without permission. I don't want to hear shit you gotta say. I created these laws, so I enforce them. All we coming for is our portion. Trick Trick further explained that he instituted a no-fly zone, I do remember that very vividly, in Detroit, in which artists could not perform in the city unless Trick Trick was paid. Without paying a commission to an OG's organization, such as the Big U Enterprise, visitors to Los Angeles are at risk of violence. Henley also provided examples of individuals who do not check in with him until it's too late, such as the rap artist Tequan Terrell Bowman, aka Quando Rondo. Shit. Whom Henley discussed in another interview and who was later targeted in a murder-for-hire plot where his associate was killed. But I thought that was about Dirk and them. Are we saying that this is now an issue of him not checking in? When defending this practice in interviews, Henley has stated that it is no different Then when a Learjet flies over United States airspace, they want to know who you are. Henley said his practices is no different, which I believe indicates that he purports to own and control Los Angeles through the Big U enterprise. How Henley and Big U enterprise respond to failures to check in. In 2022, the FBI interviewed a cooperating witness known as CW1, who told the FBI about one of those check-in incidents. CW1 said that he knew Henley was a rolling member. CW1 also said Henley led a money-making gang that was distinct from the organization, referring to the Big U enterprise. According to CW1, rap artists, athletes, and other individuals needed to pay Henley a fee when they visited LA. CW1 believed, the fees that Henley collected were extortion payments. CW1 then recounted that a large buy-in dice game occurred in Los Angeles in June 2019. The game involved the professional boxer AB, as in Adrien Broner, Adrien Broner's associates, and several prominent NBA players. According to CW1, AB and his associates fixed the game. Not fixed the game. Boy, you out here playing like that? And cheated the NBA players out of millions of dollars using teased dice. AB, I know you ain't got it all upstairs, but are you crazy? Following that game, Henley directed a group of Big U Enterprise associates to rough up AB, who did not check in with Henley, and to get the money back from him on behalf of the cheated NBA players. Multiple members of the 60s ultimately arrived, and Henley used them to press AB. CW1 said that Henley was involved with the incident because Henley was involved in or would approve of any dice games or similar events such as parties involving large sums of money and prominent NBA players and celebrities in LA. Multiple persons involved in the incident who have been interviewed included former NBA players, confirmed that Henley was paid $100,000 for negotiating this debt. However, each was later approached by associates of AB and told they still owed the money. Huh? AB crazy as fuck. So you saying that these NBA players had to pay $100,000 to get their money? Why I gotta pay money to get my money? Damn. And then you got AB coming and saying, I don't give a fuck what he talking about. You still owe me the money that I won off my cheating ass dice. Man, come on. CW1 was aware of other instances where NBA players or other celebrities would need to work with and get approval in advance from Henley to ensure their safety at events in LA, such as parties, gambling games, advertising shoots. Not advertising shoots, damn. CW1 said that these celebrities would have to seek and or pay Henley for protection and approval or face retaliation from the Big U enterprise. At the outset of the investigation, Victim 1 was identified as an extortion victim. Victim 1 is described further below. From April 14, 2022 until April 15, 2022, Victim 1 conducted a consensually monitored meeting with Henley and other unidentified individuals. During the meeting, Henley told Victim 1 and others that he got into it with AB after AB cheated a current NBA All-Star out of $1.5 million and a former NBA All-Star out of $5 million. Y'all putting that type of money on a dice game? Damn, no wonder Drake be friends with y'all. Henley also said that he charged the players $100K each so that they could get their money back from AB. Okay, I can see that. If 1.5 million is on the line, 5 million is on the line, that type of bit money, if I got to go get my people together, I can understand why I need $100,000 cut. I get it. People ain't moving for free, but damn. Bad habits die hard, they say, or old habits. A confidential informant involved with the cheating scheme corroborated this information and that AB was confronted for failing to check in regarding the game. Now we get into supposedly legitimate businesses and charities, which we've talked about already. Developing options. Hold on. So he started Unique Music in 1996, which is interesting because he was locked up at that time, wasn't he? In 2004, Henley formed Development Options, for which he is the CEO and Martin is chief financial officer, developing options as business as many other entities, including the Crenshaw Rams youth football team, which is designed to give underprivileged children a safe outlet in sports with a chance to build skills for the future, including athletic scholarships. According to his website, Developing Options uses advocacy, education, resources, training, and development in sports to achieve its objectives. This is a damn shame that these children are involved with this shit and don't know what the fuck going on. In the docuseries, Henley indicated that Developing Options was a platform he used to help individuals get to college instead of going to jail. Many other publicly available recordings online show Henley describing the structure of Developing Options, how it's funded, and what it claims to do for the community. Since approximately 2015, it's been the recipient of an annual $550,000 as part of the GRYD program overseen by the city of Los Angeles from July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2023. They were allotted $2.3 million from the city of Los Angeles. From that, Henley has drawn hundreds of thousands of dollars purported in salary. The GRYD program has an extensive mandatory handbook that is appended to each contract, and the Developing Options, like every other GRYD contractor, must comply with. The detailed and extensive handbook has many requirements that include extensive criminal background checks, compliance, training, and approval of employees, attendance at meetings, logging activity, and liaising with local law enforcement, among other requirements. Based on my review of documents in the course of this investigation, Developing Options appears to have failed to comply with some or potentially all of those requirements. Gee damn. Henley further solicits donations from celebrities, companies, foundations, and other entities which the victim donors believe will further a charitable purpose, but often instead are embezzled into Henley's personal bank account. As discussed in further detail below, Henley, Robinson, and Martin and other Big U enterprise co-conspirators utilize Developing Options as a platform to conduct both violent crimes and financial crimes under the guise of gang intervention work. They say he also fraudulently applied for federal pandemic funds for his entities, including Developing Options, Unique Music, and other businesses. The loans and or advances he successfully obtained are discussed further below. Similarly, Henley and Martin helped one of their employees at Developing Options fraudulently apply for a mortgage by manipulating his income records. The enterprise is committed to financially enriching its members and associates by stealing or cheating its victims out of money or property. Boy, oh boy. Racketeering activity of unalivened RW as set forth below. There is probable cause to believe that Henley unalived victim RW on January 25th, 2021 and dragged his body into the desert, in North Las Vegas. On that morning, the detectives discovered the body of RW lying in the desert near the Apex landfill. RW had been shot multiple times and his body had been dragged and left in a ditch not far from Interstate 15 hours before. RW was at the studio of Witness 2 with Henley. NLVPD investigation revealed that RW was one of Henley's recording artists and was at the studios as a guest of Henley, recording for Unique Music, the independent record label that Henley and Martin co-founded. According to a studio witness, Witness 1, who was employed as security for the studio, Henley was one of the last people seen with RW prior to RW's homicide. Witness 1 also stated that Robinson drove Henley to Las Vegas from LA in a dark gray Lexus, and that Witness 1, in his security capacity, encountered Henley and Robinson when they arrived at the studio and had words with them because he did not know who they were. Witness 1's statements to NLVPD at the outset of the investigation have been corroborated by other witnesses and cell phone location data, among other evidence. Further investigation revealed motive, opportunity, obstruction, inculpatory statements, and more from Henley and other members and associates of the Big U enterprise. Wow. On January 20th, 2021, 5 days before and 3 days before they drove from LA to Vegas, RW recorded a diss song that NLVPD later obtained. In it, RW rapped about the person who had the money, that RW would be shot in the face for thinking shit funny, and referenced a .38 revolver with no trace. Oh boy. Based on my knowledge of this investigation and conversations with others, I believe that in this diss song, RW was dissing Henley, referring to him as the bro that makes the money. and that RW may get shot in the face for thinking his lackadaisical use of his studio and general representation by unique music is funny. RW was shot days later in the face, apparently with a revolver like a 38 that left no shell casings. It is unknown whether Henley heard these lyrics prior to the act. The effectiveness of the Big U enterprise is premised on Henley's stature as the most feared man in LA. As such, ensuring that no one disrespects him and that any such perceived disrespect is met with reprehensible violence is a core tenet of the Big U enterprise, and even more so when that disrespect is displayed publicly, like in front of extortion victims. As Henley himself stated on an intercepted call in 2023, "Can't no nigga beef with me, nigga. Because if he do, I'ma blank him. Period. I am going to unalive him." Yeah, that's not good. As Robinson explained in a surreptitious recording, when Henley got out, he said, "I'm the toughest nigga and here's my body of work to prove it. And you know, I'm the only nigga still blanking niggas today. You niggas retired." I didn't, excuse me. They understand that. Woo! Because the Big U enterprise existence relies and thrives on fear of violence, perception is paramount. As Witness 2 explained, Henley, through the Big U enterprise entity Unique Music, was using Witness 2's expensive, valuable studio to record the Big U enterprise artist RW for free, based on the fear and power dynamic imposed over Witness 2 by the Big U enterprise for years. So they saying that they've been using homie's studio for free due to intimidation. Wow. And by taking a lackadaisical approach to the studio time the Big U enterprise has secured for free, RW was wasting that time. I believe that RW wasting the time, thereby disparaging Henley's name and the Big U enterprise reputation and potentially flouting that disrespect with the lyrics of a diss song, led to a dispute between Henley and RW. The dispute was so serious that Henley and Robinson drove from LA to Vegas to confront RW, and that dispute then turned deadly. Throughout our investigation, no investigator, family member, witness, or any third party has ever identified any individuals that would have motive or opportunity to unalive RW except Henley. As discussed herein, Henley's motive for unaliving RW was in the interest of the Big U enterprise. Here they go into the location of his cell phone, corroborating with his involvement. God damn. They say, "I have reviewed cell phone location information obtained via search warrants for 2 phones associated with Henley for the time before, during, and after. According to Witness 1, Witness 2, and one of RW's friends who was visiting him in Vegas the day he was unalived, as well as an analysis of Henley's phone, Henley and Robinson arrived in Las Vegas January 23rd, 2021. The night before, Henley's phone location data and witnesses show that he arrived at an Airbnb on Round Rock Drive in Vegas. The Airbnb RW was staying in prior to the homicide in the middle of the night. Oh, they were staying at the same place. Henley, through Unique Music, was paying for the Airbnb. Surveillance footage from in front of the Airbnb showed a dark gray or silver sedan, which is matching up with the vehicle they mentioned before, arriving at the Airbnb and leaving shortly after. The surveillance video also showed Henley at the Airbnb. On January 24th, 2021, the night of the unaliving, at approximately 7:04 p.m., Henley arrived at the studio. According to witnesses, at approximately 8 p.m. or 9, RW arrived at the studio and recorded a song from approximately 11 p.m. until midnight. On January 25th, at approximately 12:37 a.m., Henley left the studio, and the dark gray Lexus in which he and Robinson had driven to the studio was no longer there. At approximately 12:58 a.m., Henley's phone stopped reporting location data of any kind, with the last data recorded within the vicinity of the studio. At approximately 1:13, surveillance footage at the Airbnb again revealed a dark gray or silver sedan arriving to the Airbnb. RW exited the passenger side of the vehicle and entered the Airbnb. A few minutes later, at approximately 1:20, RW exited the Airbnb with a suitcase, put the suitcase in the trunk, and got in the dark gray or silver sedan, which departed. The Airbnb, though, was rented for another day, and RW was not set to leave until a flight scheduled the following day. Both of Henley's phones did not begin reporting location data again until approximately 2:15. Based on investigator test drives and research, the drive from the studio to the Airbnb would take roughly 17 minutes after Henley's phone stopped reporting location data when they left the vicinity of the studio. The dark sedan arrived with RW at the Airbnb 15 minutes later, which is consistent with traffic patterns after midnight. The drive from the Airbnb to the location where RW's body was found and then to the location where Henley's phone began reporting again would take roughly 42 minutes. The time from when RW left the Airbnb to when Henley's phone began reporting again is 48 minutes. Oh boy. Approximate time for the drive, unaliving, and moving of the body, particularly to the in the middle of the night without traffic. One of Henley's phones then made a call to Robinson, who Witness 1 reported was still at the studio, which is corroborated by Robinson's phone location data. According to Witness 1, Robinson asked Witness 1 if he had seen Henley, which Witness 1 found odd since Robinson was Henley's driver and bodyguard. At approximately 2:30 a.m. or 3, Henley returned to the studio alone in the dark gray Lexus and spoke with Witness 1, who reported that Henley appeared to be drenched in either sweat or water. Henley told Witness 1 that he was coming back from the gym. RW's body was found hours later at approximately 9 a.m. One of the NLVPD detectives investigating believed RW died at the location near the side of the road on I-15 after he observed the roadway contained a distinct patch of blood which trailed down the hill from the roadway into the desert along with drag marks. Henley's phone location data showed that he departed Las Vegas to return to LA at approximately 10 a.m. Officers and medical professionals responded to the scene of RW, and a subsequent autopsy found that RW died from multiple gunshot wounds. The responders noted that RW was not dressed for the weather, which was cold and inclement on the night of the DNA was collected from RW's ankle and sock area, consistent with the direction that RW was dragged into the desert off the highway. The DNA profile obtained was not complete, likely due to the aforementioned inclement weather on the night of the analysis of Henley's DNA profile was inconclusive, such that he could not be excluded as the contributor of the DNA. Robinson, on the other hand, was excluded as a potential contributor of the DNA found on RW. So now they say that Big U arranged for recording equipment from the studio to be removed. Wow. Witness 1 told NLVPD detectives that DS, Henley's associate, removed video recording equipment from the studio a couple days after the homicide, including destruction of surveillance video data that would have shown RW and Henley at the studio shortly before. Witness 2 told the FBI that Henley ordered Witness 1 and Witness 2 to leave the premises, as in take a walk, prior to the removal of the video recording equipment. Witness 1 explained that 3 relatively new surveillance and working DVR devices had been removed and all the security cameras were disabled. Witness 1 stated that the replacement DVRs were installed, but they did not work. Witness 3, who had previously installed the DVR equipment at the recording studio, also spoke with the FBI. According to Witness 3, on January 31st, 2021, Witness 3 went to the studios to fix video cameras that were not working at the studio after Witness 2 called them to fix them. Witness 3 analyzed the equipment and concluded the DVR system was unplugged or turned off. According to Witness 1, DS then sent him money to purchase new DVR equipment for the studio. I believe that there is probable cause to conclude that footage from the DVR system would have shown an altercation between Henley and RW on the night of January 24th, 2021, and at minimum, Henley and RW leaving the studio together shortly before RW's unaliving. Some crazy stuff going on here, man. And I believe RW was a former football player under Big U's program. On January 27th, 2021, NLVPD detectives spoke with RW's family, which was the first time his family learned that he had died. On January 28th, NLVP detectives again spoke with RW's family. Generally, his family confirmed that RW lived in California and worked as a musician. He was recently working with a music producer, Henley, who is also from California, and Henley had booked RW's Airbnb and travel. RW's family explained that he was close with Henley and trusted him. Henley coached RW in football since he was young. RW lived with Henley for a time while in high school. At some point, Henley believed RW had worn a chain that belonged to Henley's son to school without permission, and RW was kicked out. Okay. PM, RW's aunt added that she called Henley on January 27, 2021 after learning RW had been unalived. Henley claimed he had not seen or heard from him and did not know his whereabouts. Oh, man. PM confronted Henley about arranging the trip for RW to record in Vegas, and then Henley admitted he had done so. PM had overheard Henley speaking with someone named KF, whom investigators later interviewed about RW's travel arrangements. In a later interview during the pendency of this investigation, PM said that Henley would call her on a weekly basis prior to this, but after that call on January 27, 2021, PM never again heard from him. They also learned that CA, a friend of RW, spent the weekend in Vegas and visited RW at the Airbnb. According to CA, at about 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, January 24th, Henley came to the Airbnb and asked RW why he did not show up to the music studio the day prior. RW claimed he did not have a ride. CA reported that it was odd that Henley actually took the time to show up at the Airbnb in Vegas to confront him. CA and his family left for California Sunday afternoon at about 2 p.m., and CA had not heard from him since. Throughout the entire investigation, the family members and friends who have been interviewed have pointed to Henley as the person they believe to be responsible for RW's unaliving. Within days, multiple people were sending Instagram messages to Henley demanding answers for what happened to him, all of which were without response. NLVPD searched RW's Instagram. His final Instagram message to Henley regarding the price of a song was sent on January 24th at 1:57 p.m. Henley did not respond until January 26th at 8:14 a.m., almost 24 hours after Henley left Vegas following the unaliving. Wow. So they saying that he sent the message to him after the deed was done. In the meantime, the evidence shows that Henley had seen RW at the studio at the night of January 24th after RW had sent that Instagram message, and Henley presumably would have discussed the price of the song at the time, if at all. Thus, it appears that Henley sent the message on the 26th in an attempt to plead ignorance that RW was unalived and to avoid suspicion from law enforcement of his involvement in the unaliving. February 3rd, they conducted a recording interview of KF, the person RW's aunt heard Henley talking to about RW's travel arrangements on the 27th. As discussed above, KF was the account manager for Unique Music and handled the artist's travel needs and expenses. KF used KF's mother's Uber account to coordinate rides for RW while he was in Vegas. KF confirmed he worked directly for Henley and had arranged RW's flight to Vegas. RW was supposed to fly home Tuesday, January 26, possibly in the morning, i.e. over 24 hours after he was seen leaving the Airbnb with his suitcase in the gray or silver sedan and then found not living. KF also arranged living accommodations for RW at the Airbnb for the week of January 19th through January 26th. Additionally, KF explained that part of his job was to arrange for transportation via Uber to and from the studio. Who left 2 controllers and a jacket at the Airbnb that the Airbnb owner had contacted KF about. KF used an Airbnb application on his phone to make the reservations, but the account actually belonged to a friend named HT. In reviewing audio of this interview, it is clear that KF hesitated when answering several questions and appeared to be elusive about several answers. Oh man, KF claimed he did not have a phone number for Henley and had no way to get in touch with him. KF eventually provided Henley's phone number, but still claimed he did not know how to get in touch with him and did not know when he would see him again. KF also claimed he did not know the address of the recording studio in Vegas, even though KF was the person tasked with making the transportation arrangements for RW to get to the studio. KF then stated that he merely provided Cash App transfers so that he could book the Uber rides before backtracking and stated he did order the Uber rides. Similarly, KF claimed that he did not know the name of the music studio or the engineer RW was scheduled to work with. KF advised that RW made music and was supposed to make one song per day. KF said RW did not go to the studios on January 19th, was supposed to go every day after that, but probably did not go every day. On one day, RW did not go and said he would double up the following day. RW texted KF and said he was enjoying himself and was doing well. When KF called him, he did not answer. KF texted him, but at a certain point, the text message went green instead of blue. The last time KF received a message from RW was at 11:58 p.m. on January 24th, less than 2 hours before his death. When the FBI attempted to interview KF, he told them he did not want to speak. Soon after the interview of KF, NLVPD located HT, whose account was used by KF to book the Airbnb. She explained that she did not authorize the use of her Airbnb account and was very upset about it. She explained that her godbrother KF used her Airbnb account to book a room in Las Vegas and then learned someone had been killed during that stay. HT explained that KF used her account to book the room but used his own credit card. HT received the notification regarding the booking and asked KF why he used her account to book a room. He apologized and claimed he did not realize he booked it on her account. At the time, HT said she did not think it was a big deal and did not press the issue. HT did not know RW and explained that she worked in the medical field. Huh? Oh, she didn't know the young man that was staying at the Airbnb. Since KF had used HT's Airbnb account to reserve the room, HT intercepted messages between the Airbnb host and KF and provided them to law enforcement. She saw a message from KF asking if the Airbnb property had video surveillance prior to law enforcement speaking to KF and confronting him about the messages because she did not want her account to be associated with any problems. KF told her about RW's unaliving again before law enforcement spoke to him and said he was trying to figure out what happened. Wow. In 2023, after NLVPD attempted to interview parties about the unaliving, Henley and his associates made several inculpatory calls regarding the murder, which were intercepted by law enforcement pursuant to a Title III wiretap. First, NLVPD went to Henley's home at Henley's 62nd Street premises when he was not there. After leaving a business card and informing Henley's wife, SH, that they were following the 2-year anniversary of RW's homicide, were new to the case and were just talking to everyone who was close to RW. SH called Henley from Henley's father's phone. SH had not done this before during the entirety of the wiretap. Henley answered, "What's up, Dad?" further showing the anomalous nature of the call. SH then explained that the detectives came by their home and were looking for him and talking to others. Henley asked how many officers, but was otherwise extremely circumspect. In the hundreds of hours of calls, hundreds of hours, captured that I've listened to, Henley's voice was notably and conspicuously different on this call. SH also lied to police, stating that Henley only lived at Henley's 62nd Street premises sometimes. In actuality, the FBI observed on surveillance and in months of cell site location data that Henley was there most nights unless he was traveling. After the call, Henley did not return home for 2 weeks, again, something he had not done during the entirety of surveillance or cell site location data received by law enforcement. Moreover, that night, victim 1 paid an extortion fee to Robinson. What? Who was driving Henley's Mercedes. Again, Robinson driving Henley's Mercedes was something that had not occurred before during the course of the investigation. Based on my training and experience, I believe that Henley not returning home for 2 weeks and having one of his associates driving his car were attempts by Henley to avoid law enforcement regarding RW's unaliving. On or about, not on Valentine's Day. At approximately 12:05 p.m., Henley called Martin. During his intercepted call, Henley told Martin he wanted to meet with him at Martin's auto shop to discuss the police investigation into RW. The following is a transcription of a portion of the conversation. So this is actual transcript. He says, 5 detectives went by my house this morning from Las Vegas, and said they wanted to talk to me. You hear me? He says, yeah. He says, I probably let you know they was asking about RW and told Static. Okay, so this phone call was a little unclear. 2-year anniversary. It was, they wanted to follow up and talk to everybody who was close. Where you at? You see, I'm at the shop. He says, all right, I'm pulling up on you. All right. Based on other intercepts, I know that Henley believed the FBI may have been intercepting his telephone calls. Therefore, I believe Henley wanted to talk to Martin in person regarding this in order to avoid speaking on a telephone line that may be intercepted by law enforcement. Following the call to Martin, Henley immediately placed multiple calls to DS, the person who reportedly removed the video surveillance from the studio. The first few calls were not answered, then Henley told DS he needed to meet with him. The following is a transcription of a portion of the conversation. He said, where you at? At the house, ready to jump in the shower. What you on? He says, I need to pull up on you. All right, I'm right here at the house. He say, all right, I got to pull up on you and you I. He say, how long you gonna be? He say, you ain't about to go nowhere, are you? He say, nah, I'm UI. Okay. He says, I'll just jump in the shower though, just to be ready though. He says, okay, all right, for sure. As discussed above, DS reportedly removed surveillance evidence of Henley and RW's presence at the studio hours before the homicide, namely all the security cameras and DVRs from the studio. It's a lot, man. On February 16th, 2023, Henley was on the phone with DS. And Henley told DS he was traveling to Vegas the following day where witness 2 was located. NLVPD had begun interviews of witnesses regarding RW, and I believe that Henley may have been going to Las Vegas to confront witness 2 to see if he had talked to law enforcement. February 21st, Henley received a phone call from his son. Henley's son told him that NLVPD called him about RW and suggested that detectives had spoken to SH and Henley already. Henley told his son that nobody had spoken to the detectives and directed him not to talk to anyone anymore about RW. Same day, Henley called SH to tell her that the NLVP detectives had called their son about RW and what was said. Henley told SH to call LD, the mother of KF, Henley's employee who booked victim RW travel arrangements. But on FaceTime, Henley told SH to be careful about what she said over the phone. SH says he had nothing to worry about. When the FBI approached LD about this, LD hired a lawyer who told law enforcement that her client had no memory of this and had nothing to do with it. Same day, Henley called Martin and told him he had been trying to reach him on the other phone, possibly via FaceTime. Martin said he was going to get his other phone. Henley requested Martin to call him. Later the same day, Henley called Martin to confirm that he was at the auto shop. Henley told Martin he was on his way. Still later, Henley had called Robinson. Robinson was at one of Henley's homes, and Henley said he was heading to meet him. Based on my training and experience and knowledge of the investigation, I believe Henley was contacting Big U Enterprise members and associates, specifically those with knowledge of the unaliving, to ensure that any statements to law enforcement were either suppressed or consistent with one another. So here they get into a robbery. So that previous section was about a young man who was a former football player that Big U coached and housed for a certain period of time. He began recording music with Big U, and apparently they had a falling out. And they alleged that this young man had made a diss track purportedly talking about Big U in it. Next thing you know, he ain't here with us no more. Here they say robbery in violation of the Hobbs Act and as racketeering activity. Wow. So here they say that due to victims and wiretaps and recorded meetings, they set up and execute robberies throughout LA. Normally, Henley provides the target and location while the robbery is committed by the Big U Enterprise or at the Big U Enterprise's direction using the 60s and other associates. The Big U Enterprise, as well as individuals who personally commit the robberies, will take a cut and then often sell the robbery proceeds or give the robbery proceeds back to a victim as a power grab and to instill fear of future robberies and or violence. Okay, so here they say that Henley directed a robbery and conspires to rob, and Robinson and Williams personally rob a marijuana dispensary. So now they put together a move on a dispensary. One such robbery occurred July 5th at an unlicensed marijuana dispensary in LA where victim 1 worked. Leading up to the robbery, the Big U enterprise had been extorting victim 1 for years, and victim 1 had been paying up to $25K per month. Jesus. Victim 1 was at the top of his earning capacity. Shortly before the robbery, however, victim 1 had ceased paying extortion to the Big U enterprises. Victim 1 did not believe it was necessary or that he was receiving any benefit from the payments. Oh, so he decided to cut it off. He said, nah, I ain't giving up no more. On the day of the robbery, approximately 11 of the Big U enterprise members and associates, including Robinson and Williams, both of whom victim 1 knew well, rushed into the dispensary armed with firearms and without masks. Damn, not even masks on. They demanded belongings of anyone inside and stole cash and Mary J out the store before fleeing. At one point, they demanded a Rolex watch from one of the co-owners, but at Robinson's direction, they ended up letting them keep it. According to victim 1, while still at the dispensary, the robbers put victim 1 on the phone with Henley, who invited victim 1 to his home. According to victim 1, when he arrived at Henley's Arlington premises, Robinson, Williams, and other robbers were there, as were the proceeds of the robbery. Henley told victim 1, "That's how you rob yourself." Henley then demanded $10K from victim 1 to ensure other robberies did not occur. Henley also directed victim 1 to identify other businesses or dispensaries that could be similarly robbed and assured victim 1 that the Big U enterprise would compensate him for identifying any robberies. Henley then provided a portion of the robbery proceeds back to him. So he said, okay, I need $10K so that we don't run up on you no more. But now we need some more motherfuckers to run up on. And then he gives him a little bit of the money back, allegedly. Williams later admitted to this robbery and the aftermath on a podcast. Here come no jumper. No fucking jumper, Adam Dookie Doo. On the No Jumper podcast, after stating that Williams was Henley's right-hand man, Williams explained, so basically he'll manipulate things. We'll go and do something, and then the same niggas we do it to show up to the house like 10 minutes later as we trying to count everything, and we be like, how the fuck? Williams then said that Henley would state, well, we're just going to give like $40K back. Whack 100, oh shit. Who was a rival counterpart of Henley's for the Bees, was also on the podcast and stated, you know why he wanted to give the dude back the 40, right? Because he was going to make the dude give him 20 for getting it back. Williams then agreed. Of course, he did that too. He did that to 2 famous rappers. Williams then detailed demanding $50,000 from the celebrity rapper RR. Okay, now this is purportedly Rick Ross, or they would kill the celebrity rapper MM, as in Meek Mill. Williams then said RR dropped off the $50K and Henley stopped answering the phone and they did not share any of the proceeds with Williams. According to further No Jumper and Vlad TV segment, so for people saying that Vlad TV and No Jumper ain't getting niggas caught up, well, cue the usher. Okay? Henley then served a cease and desist order on No Jumper, and this podcast episode was removed, although a recording of the episode remained available elsewhere online because clip culture. Williams' recounting of this robbery occurred years after the robbery of Victim 1's dispensary and years after Victim 1 had already recounted and documented the robbery for the FBI. Got to be more careful. Lately, Williams has claimed in multiple interviews that he is no longer affiliated with Big U, whom he now refers to as Big Useless or Big Uterus. Wow. However, Williams continues to discuss former Big U enterprise business, to discuss and threaten violent assaults and robberies, and to actually commit the same. For example, January 3rd, 2025, this year, outside of the No Jumper podcast filming location in LA, Williams struck a victim in the head multiple times with a firearm and pointed the firearm at the back of his head, while 2 other suspects removed valuables from the victim, including jewelry, cash, and a cell phone. an excess value of $5,000. I think that was that scuffle that was caught on tape, ain't it? The victim lost consciousness during the incident, which was captured on video and posted to social media, apparently to stoke fear and boast of Williams' penchant for violence. After the incident, Williams posted a 7-minute video on his YouTube channel discussing the beating, stating that he used to be Big Useless's enforcer and that he loves to fight, and that the incident could have went a lot worse. Williams' post also played a portion of the assault. Similarly, on February 25th, Williams posted a video on his YouTube channel in which he threatened anyone that is at odds with him to do something bad to you, your mama, your daddy, anybody. In that same video, Williams walked through the checking in process and walked through the fact that he would rob any celebrity who did not check in, including at an Airbnb, a restaurant, a car wash, or anywhere. Williams also said that he was with Henley when rapper Rakim Hashim Allen, aka PNB Rock, was robbed and killed, that they told him to comply, and that they would get the jewelry later. So here he says they were present when PNB Rock, who's not from there, although he claimed, to have ties out there. We saw what happened with him, and we saw all of the drama, all of the different rumors and thoughts, and people try to say his girl set him up and all of this different type of stuff. He was involved in some whole other shit. Okay? Oh, man. Told him to comply. Williams also walked through the kidnapping of a famous rapper that Williams and Henley committed together, and then discussed several Big U Enterprise associates being good in Los Angeles because they have checked in. Some of those mentioned were developing options donors or former NBA players who have provided hundreds of thousands of dollars as purported gifts. February 2025, Williams also took part in a film conversation with multiple people on YouTube in which he told another participant that you will lose your life. And then when Williams found him, Williams was going to do something bad to him. They have further evidence of Big U's Enterprise involvement in other robberies. Here they go back to 2021 when Williams was still down with the squad, I suppose. Throughout this investigation, the FBI obtained many recordings of Big U Enterprise members and associates discussing robberies that they were committing or planning to commit. For example, August 6, 2021, Robinson told victim 1, trying to lick somebody that ain't even hard. All this shit is just, this ain't working, man. I'm like, man, I'm in the wrong business, homie. In my training and experience and investigation into this case, lick is consistently used as slang for robbery. Yeah, we know that. Similarly, on June 22nd, 2022, on another recorded call, Robinson told victim 1 that Henley had been asking Robinson if they needed to do a takeover, which I know based on my training experience and participation in this investigation to mean a takeover robbery of victim 1 at his marijuana dispensary again because victim 1 had not paid his extortion payments. Then on July 9th, Henley told victim 1, we gotta rob someone. You with that bullshit, damn. On July 31st, 2022, Henley told victim 1 that Henley needed $30,000 to pay his development options staff and was considering a robbery and increased extortions to obtain the funds. Henley was also intercepted on a telephone call telling an auto shop owner that Henley knew how much he had paid the shop owner because the payment was proceeds of a robbery. Wow. In other wiretap interceptions, I also heard Henley planning a robbery of individuals that had stolen equipment from a celebrity rapper. Using an Apple AirTag that was purportedly with the equipment, Henley, Martin, and others obtained firearms and began to stage the robbery to get back the equipment. However, when they arrived, the police also arrived, having been called by the celebrity rapper. I witnessed the staging of the robbery on surveillance before it was called off. November 11, 2022, on another intercepted call, Mitchell and Henley coordinated how Mitchell would give Henley the proceeds from a robbery that Mitchell committed. Henley and Mitchell were talking about how much money should go to Henley. Then in multiple other intercepted calls and texts, Henley talked with Blanton and Robinson to help Henley collect from Mitchell's associate, talking about Mitchell. Blanton said they robbed the nigga for some shit. They made a nigga call his plug and then they booked him. Talking about further splitting the proceeds, Henley told Blanton, I'ma grab half of that, whatever he got him. I'm going to give it to V, and V can bring the rest of you. On a subsequent call, I heard Henley counting out the money and saying that it ain't nothing but 2 to 3 racks. Blinton responded. Brick Baby said it was supposed to be between 5 to 7, man. You got to make that call out to Brick, man. On April 11, 2023, Henley and Blanton again discussed an individual who was supposed to be robbed in the near future. Wow. There's a lot of people getting caught up in this shit, man. We got fucking Adrien Broner. We got Rick Ross. We got Meek Mill. Unnamed celebrities, NBA players. All types of shit, man. Again, I ain't got enough time to be going through all this shit. I'll be here all day. Now here we'll get into some of the recordings of these people talking about things that they were involved in. Here is no jumper footage of Brick Baby and Loose Cannon talking about their endeavors. And it wasn't much long after, 16 hours to be exact, that they got picked up by the feds, including Big U.
Look, outside of that, the feds picked you up 2 times, right? You said the feds have picked you up on numerous occasions, right?
What part? What time? Yeah. Okay, so look.
So
we're gonna elaborate and we're gonna respond to that. Yeah. No. Because at the end of the day, it's like this, right? Because when the same time they came and picked your ass up, right? They came and got Big Useless, right? And then, they rolled on me.
Yeah.
So you already know the answer.
I don't know that they wrote on you. I'm telling you. I'm saying
we dealing with this
2 separate times. Okay, I hear you.
Okay, wait. Hold on.
You're talking.
No, look
to them.
Okay, so listen.
You can't just say
Okay, no. So this is a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Brick Baby hit me. Well, like
I know
5,
what's up.
6. No, hold on. No, you
on
want
on the play.
Yeah, on the play, right?
Yeah.
And then some dogs eat somebody, right? So they contact Brick. They was like, Brick, we need our shit back. Can you get it from this individual, right? Yeah. Which is me. Brick hit me and it was like, man, they ordered you up. I said, nigga, you about to be ordered up. You get what I'm saying? That was the conversation.
Yeah.
What happened? You get what I'm saying? Our interaction when getting to know each other. So Brick found out what I do, and I found out what he do. You get what I'm saying? So next question.
Meanwhile, none of us know or need to know.
So it was basically when I called, I seen the play, but he know what I'm on. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we argued, I think, when he said I'm about to get ordered up, because I think we had some words.
Yeah, we had some words and stuff like that.
Nigga, order what? Nigga,
but you probably thought he was coming from a different place.
What I'm saying is, because, all right, if
2 birds in 1 stone, put it that way.
If I get his number from Big Bro, or however I reach you, I'm like, get me in contact with Cuz, boom, 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 boom. So when Cuz, I'm like, Cuz, they trying to, you know what I mean? I don't know that Cuz moving like this, so when I tap in, he's like, man, that's what Cuz do. I'm like, oh yeah. And they basically telling Cuz the same shit. I'm like, oh, that's why they want me to go get it from Cuz, because can't nobody else get it from Cuz. I'm like, this one, you ain't gonna be able to get back without you gotta come with some cash. You get what I'm saying? But either way it go. I get what you said. Yeah. All right.
So you see they're here speaking in a coded language, which really the coded language really ain't the place to be speaking of on No Jumper with Adam Dookie Doo. You got Adam Dookie Doo coming out here talking about some, hey guys, stop blaming me. I don't have anything to do with this. But this is like a headquarters for years where, once upon a time, No Jump Shot used to be the spot where upcoming rappers, SoundCloud era rappers would come convene, hang out, get together, make music, do podcast interviews, etc., etc., etc. At a certain point, when the SoundCloud rap era came to mostly a close, Adam Dookie Doo then decided, man, what's the next way that I can exploit black culture? Okay? The SoundCloud rap era is pretty much over. The rappers that used to fuck with me or I used to fuck with really don't come around no more. And they're not really stories that nobody cares about no more for me to go viral and get stupid teenage motherfuckers to tune in. So how do I captivate them? And of course, all these suburban teens and all these people, they want to know the lore of the street life. That's why we even have a channel with a fucking white kid who looked like he could live in goddamn, I ain't even gonna say, you know, like a Trap Lord Ross who could be telling these stories of all of these tragic hip hop people that have street ties or all of these different criminal generals and shit and survive, you know what I'm saying? Because these people are so interested and enamored by what's going on in street urban culture, right? So then he latches on to that, starts bringing all these people into the studio. He's instigating problems, instigating fights, instigating beefs, all happening at his headquarters. He's bringing all of these different affiliated people. Next thing you know, that becomes the premise of his show outside of when he's bringing sex workers on. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, motherfucker, you and Vlad and the DJ that don't spin, as y'all have tried to establish yourselves as these big voices in hip hop, y'all have actually contributed more detriment to black people than contributed to the growth of hip hop. But you know, niggas gonna continue to let y'all get y'all shit off because it's entertaining. Here we have video of Loose Cannon, once again, in the fucking No Jumper studio, this time sitting right next to Whack 100, stating, Big U knew that Nipsey Hussle was going to be unalived by Eric Holder, aka Shitty, 30 minutes before it happened. Big U has now been picked up for unaliving another aspiring rapper. No Jumper has recently deleted this video, so here is the recording that is still available online.
And I'm on a phone, he FaceTimed me. So he FaceTimed me and stuff like that. He was like,
why your
Nipsey
shit
just got killed. I'm like, 6 I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey and I'm like, Nipsey, what's up? He was like, oh, what's up with it?
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. He answered the phone. And I was like, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that.
Did you tell him to call you just got?
I know this echo is unbearable. Just bear with me here.
You didn't even mention it.
I didn't mention it. And that's what fucked me up because my cousin is Nipsey baby mama. You get what I'm saying? So it was like I could have probably stopped it or it had it.
Stop what? Fuck you mean? That fuck you talking about?
No, because listen. So after I talked to Nipsey and I was like, yeah, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that. I'll see you later or whatever. So I hung up the phone. I thought Big U gave wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nipsey. And so I'm like,
wait. You get a call from Big U telling you Nipsey just got killed.
Yeah.
You panic, called Nip. Nip answered the phone.
Yeah. And
you
like just talking on regular. So it's like at the end of the day, I didn't even think about it because
you don't even warn him that you got that call from dude.
No, because their relationship was so fucked up. It'd be like they be hot one minute, then they be cold the next minute.
Hold on. So he said he got a call stating that Nipsey was already gone. But then 30 minutes later, he actually talked to Nip. Allegedly, you know. Okay.
And then they be lukewarm like you
and
just
30 minutes after you get out the phone with Nip, he get killed.
Yeah, I got it.
So you think he hit you a little too early?
Yep, he hit me a little bit too early because the homie Shitty double back 3 times. You get what I'm saying? And first he shot him, boom, go into the alley, came back and shot him, boom. It wasn't good enough, and then he came back and he shot him again. But now it's like
how did he know?
Yeah, no, but
that's crazy.
It's deep. So it's like I don't know who to trust.
Now let me ask you a question. I heard this. I don't know how true it is. I heard that Shitty and Nipsey had a fight.
Yeah, they had they had a fight like a week before that when they had a fight. You know, Shitty ain't known for fighting.
Yeah, not at all.
He known for doing the other things. So at the end of the day, it's like Nipsey beat him up. Nipsey is what's like 6'4", 6'5". Shitty is like 5'5", 5'6". You get what I'm saying? Like frails. Like he get high.
So there was already some friction there.
Yeah, it was already friction because of like some police telling shit. And
now let me ask you something, bro, because you know they gon'. I know you. See, you don't say nothing. You kind of like me in a way. You don't say nothing unless.
But the homies know. So it's like, it's not like I'm saying.
Hey, that alone, the fact that he called 30 minutes prior to the shit supposed to be taking transpire, make a nigga think like, hold on, so you, and why would, what?
Yeah, you didn't get there, but you was on the right path. Allegedly. Some crazy shit going on, man. I can't believe I've been on this bitch an hour and a half already. Here we have the same young man, Loose Cannon, talking about the time they took Meek Mill's shit for Big U and called Rick Ross to bring $50K to get it back. They make the police job so easy. That's what this person says. We just read about this in the indictment. Here we have footage of this gentleman here actually speaking about it. What the fuck is going on?
Team needs a bag. So what we do? Walk in the club. You had like 9 of your homies. It was like 30 of us. The security moved to the side. I said, Meek, you know what's this about? You started taking it off and handing it to me. You was polite about it, Sugar Plum. You was polite. Sugar Plum, you was polite. I hear Rose. Hey, look. I got this. You got this artist you pumping. You don't want this to get out. We need 50. He brought 52, Crenshaw, and 48. He brought that money. He brought it fast. And when he brought it, I hit Big Useless and said, we on our way. Gave Meek Mills his stuff back and left. And
so he recounts the situation in as much detail as he possibly could within about a minute and a half, letting it be known his involvement and Big U. Crazy shit, man. Here we have uploaded footage, video surfaces of Big U making a movie crew check in LA. A quote, if you don't check in, we will check in all of your equipment, okay? So he is recording himself, putting pressure on a film crew that's just trying to, shoot some content out there in LA, perhaps a TV show, perhaps a movie, perhaps independent project or something. He's putting the squeeze on them allegedly and saying, hey, you got to put in order for you to put your content out. Wow.
Movie production in the hood. That's how we do it, man.
Top flight, baby. Security.
GB running this here movie set in the hood.
Come on out here.
Coming out here and checking in with GB, getting these movies done. You better know it.
Sure.
Anytime you want to do movies in the hood, just check it in. We can make sure it's done. Movies, videos. But if you don't check it in,
oh well. Check your ass out.
We're gonna check you in, all right. We're gonna check in all of your equipment. We're gonna check in all of your equipment. Movie production in the hood.
So he's literally got this person who's trying to shoot a movie production in the area. And homeboy is literally laughing and joking and kikiing while literally having to pay his tithes to the community in order to even get it done. Willfully participating, which I guess he had no other choice, right? Here's another clip of Big U on camera where he says that Debo's character from the iconic film series Friday was reportedly based on himself. So the Debo that we know and love, okay? The beach cruiser. I want to spend red money. We finna go in Stanley. He left the door. He left the window cracked. Okay? That whole shit is allegedly based on this man here, and he comes out his own mouth and says it.
Yes, I did inspire the Devo character. Yes.
Tell us about your martial arts.
Martial arts and movie with Steven Seagal. That was the movie was Force of Execution with Steven Seagal, Danny Trejo, and Ving Rhames. And basically, you had to be karate expert to be in the movie. I had a fight scene in there. It was fun. I've been doing martial arts since I was 9 years old. BKF, SJKA. And it's just been a labor of love. It's been something that we've been doing since, like I said, I'm 9 years old. All my family has done it. And I've been fighting in the streets. That's why you always heard about me smashing things at World on Wheels.
Now, we ain't going to play this whole thing and get into his martial arts history and all that stuff. I'm just saying, he's just going through the recap of different videos that are being placed online as all of this is taking place, of coming on camera for whatever reason and outing these connections to illicit activity. Here we have Big U on the Bootleg Kev podcast. They say Big U signed Nipsey Hussle to a 10-year contract in 2009. They started beefing towards the end of the contract in 2018. Big U realized Nip wasn't going to re-sign to his label. Nipsey was then unalived on March 31st, 2019 in front of his business. Is this a coincidence? Here's the segment.
Boom. So I signed Nipsey to Unique Music, to my to Adrien Astrodome, to my label, to Unique Music. And then Steve was 10% management and I was 10% management because it didn't make no sense for us to go get another manager.
Right.
And so we started pushing on that. So I signed him to it. It was signed to a 10-year production contract, which started in 2009, which would end 2019.
Crazy.
Hello. But I ain't tripping off of that because, you know, it is what it is. But I do have that. You know what I mean? So,
wait, so your deal with Nipsey was 10 years?
It was 10 years.
It was a 10?
It was 10 years, 25% of publishing to Adrien Astrodome.
Oh, wow. 25. So 09 to 2019.
09 to 2019.
So technically, Victory Lap.
Hello.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Help me. Okay. Because when I first met Nip was.
Boom.
So there you have it. He claims he was taking 25% of publishing, even on Nipsey's Victory Lap album. Said that they started getting into it 2018. And I would imagine so, because at that time, Nipsey was ascending and excelling to a whole nother level in his place in the industry, you know what I'm saying, as a celebrity, as an artist, as a businessman. He was just beginning to really, you know, hit his stride. Of course, he had years under his belt of being an entrepreneur and doing all these things and was an artist for many years. But everything was beginning to culminate. He had respect from so many different people in the industry. If you just look at the trajectory he was on, you look at all the relationships he had, from Jay to Rock Nation to the Puma thing going on. I don't want to put Diddy in there to magnify him, but he did have Diddy on the album. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, Diddy was riding high with the Revolt and like all the different shit that he had going on, which is now falling apart. But he was next up to be like the guy, you know what I'm saying? And to many people, he was already the guy. Victory Lap had kind of cemented that he was the guy. And we were really waiting on what he was about to do next, what that whole run was going to look like for him to take that spot. And unfortunately, he didn't get to realize it. And it does sound like a shady conversation here, you know, or at least a shady undertone to the conversation here as to Big U's connection to it. Again, I don't know all the specifics on all of these things. I don't claim to and never have. I'm just playing y'all what's available online. This stuff is searchable. It's there. So yeah, man, I just want to go ahead and put this out there. Let this be a cautionary tale to all the youngins out there, for all y'all that got kids, you know, nieces, nephews, you know what I'm saying, that's coming up under y'all wing, that's coming up under y'all tutelage and rearing. steer them in the right direction, man. Show them legit ways to get money. Show them like legit ways to get real money in this lifetime. Show them how to protect themselves. Show them how to conduct themselves out in the world, man. Give them lessons out early so that they don't find themselves falling into these types of situations and circumstances that cause them to be in these types of desperate situations, because that's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? You create something out of desperation and then you build it up and then you start enforcing and it becomes something bigger. You try to clean it up, but your past will always catch up to you. There's no way to beat Father Time, and you know, when the chickens come home to roost, they gotta come home and roost. Now I don't know what the outcome is gonna be with all this. You know the Fed's conviction rate. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of different people involved. There's a lot of informants involved. There's a lot of moving parts involved. There's a lot of evidence involved as well, which is. That could seal the deal for a lot of people, you know? But unfortunately, all of these things have intersected into the world of hip hop. A lot of hip hop artists have been affected. A lot of hip hop artists have been, taken advantage of. And a lot of people in entertainment in general seem like they've been taken advantage of in the midst of all of this mess. And, I just pray for everybody involved, pray for their family members, and ultimately pray for the kids that are coming up seeing all of this stuff, watching us, because they're the ones being influenced. They're the ones being led on. They're the ones that think that this shit is a beautiful thing to get involved in. And I just want y'all to know, steer your way in the other direction, man. Get your education. You know what I'm saying? Find you a legit business that you might want to get involved in. Develop that motherfucker from the ground up. Go to school. Find you a profession. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't good in school, find your motherfucking trade. Lock in on that bitch. Get you some goddamn certifications. Go legit, man. Stay out the bullshit, man. Cause ain't nothing good waiting for you in the end. You might ride high for 10, 20, 30 years. But then you might turn around and have to serve the same amount in the aftermath. Shit ain't worth it, man. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace. King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mile. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.